Good afternoon, ladies. Happy International Women's Day. Wow, such a great pleasure to host you here. It really is a wonderful day, and more so that we are celebrating women that are saying that we are not going to accept the status quo. We want to accept the challenge. We don't want things to stay the way they've been. We want them to change for the betterness of the world. Happy International Women's Day, ladies. Good afternoon to all of you, all protocol observed. And wow, good afternoon also to the brave men that have decided that they're going to join these women. We really appreciate you, gentlemen, for joining us here. And please feel like gentlemen and celebrate with us the International Women's Day. Wow, I'm just the facilitator. Let me introduce myself properly. I'm just the International Women's Day webinar facilitator. I'm Nomfundo Mnisi, famously and passionately known as Dr. Mnisi. I am a veterinarian. I practice in Mpumalanga, and I'm a proud member of the South African Veterinary Council, and I serve there as the vice president. And I must say that I congratulate the council for having had such a number of women as its members, and also affording them the opportunity of taking positions like the vice president, the chairperson of the finance, the chairperson of this, the chairperson of that. Well, comes down to the to the SAVC for that. To all of you who are with us here, I've just indicated that I'm not going to talk a lot. I just want to briefly introduce the great women that have said that they are not going to just sit here, they want to take the challenge. That's the theme for this year's International Women's Day celebration. Women are taking the challenge. What is it that you'd like to change? What is it that you want to do to change your community? We've got with us as the member of the panelists, Dr. Baratang Lubisi, who is a veterinarian with over 20 years of experience in the field of veterinary laboratory diagnostics and research. I must tell you, this is not a field with lots of women. So yeah, well done, Dr. Lubisi. She is a wife, a mother of 2 boys, and a girl. Well, I was tempted to add, and a gorgeous girl, an owner of 2 Jack Russells. Are they girls or boys? And an avid reader and optimist. And we have then Mele Shokonolo Kuno Pume. She is currently employed by the Northwest Department of Agriculture as an animal health technician. She's got 10 years working experience, and she still has the passion to help sick animals. She's a wife, a mother of 2 adorable girls. She's got 3 pets, 2 dogs, and a cat. And then we've got Sister Stander. Sister Stander is currently supervising the nurses in the theater at Ondersteport, our very own veterinary training institution. She's been a veterinary nurse for over 25 years now, and she still loves her job. Oh, I love this woman. You know what? We always curse our jobs, don't we? But you know, when you hear somebody say he loves their job, you know, that's the way to go, girl. She's got 3 kids, lots of pets, and she keeps fit by doing, most the martial arts. Okay, great, ladies, welcome. And ladies, just to say hello, Dr. Luis.
Hello.
Thank you, Dr. Nomfundo.
Mekuno, please, Mekuno Pume.
Hello, everyone. Hello, beautiful ladies. Thank you, Dr. Mnisi.
Sister Standa.
Right, so I'm unmuted, luckily. So Thanks for the invitation to Women's Day. I appreciate it. And also a warm welcome to all the wonderful women in animal health care.
Thank you, ladies. Now, let's get on to the business of the day. So, International Women's Day this year, we're celebrating, the theme is challenging ourselves. How are we challenging ourselves? How are we changing our communities? What is the future? What is it? You want to challenge and then do what? What is it that you're looking for? So these are the discussions that we're having this afternoon. Before we get to the discussions, it's better for you to go to the future. It's better that you understand where you're coming from. I just want to share a short story, very short. And believe me, it's a true story. And I'm glad that one of the vets who witnessed that is here with us. I didn't share it with her before, but I know she'll attest to that. So sometime during our training, we go somewhere there in the Bundus and to do, whatever we had to do. Then when we got there, we told that we should stay out of the crawl. Only the male trainees must get into the crawl, to do whatever we had to do there. Believe me, it took so long and we got frustrated and we wanted to get home because we just sitting there looking at these men running after cattle, not knowing what they are doing. And guess what? We made some means. Somehow we got the things, to be next to the fence so that we could vaccinate them from outside. And we did exactly that. We vaccinated the animals from outside. And guess what? There was a comment from one of the elders there. He said it. I'll say it the way it was said. I think that was my first Sutu lesson. He said, "Busadi asibuhole," and my fellow schoolmate by then, she said, "What?" And I was like, "Why? Why are you so mad?" No, he's just said that being a woman is not being disabled. Oh, there she is. She's showing herself. So, ladies and men, that's the situation where we find ourselves. Some men out there, people out there, they somehow view us as not having the ability, as being somehow living with a disability, just because of it, you are a female. If I were to use that word that was used before we came to using people living with disabilities, they view us as being crippled. That is how they view us, and we need to change that. How do we change that, Dr. Lubisi? How do we change that? What is the future? How can we challenge ourselves? What can we do? What can you tell us? Please take the stage.
Thank you, Dr. Mnisi. I really think this is not something we should fight. We must just contribute and let our work show that we are very capable, that we've got the brains, we've got the techniques, we've got the plans and the means to do what we can do. There is so much to contribute in the veterinary sphere in South Africa. The veterinary strategy is there, which was drawn up and it's effective for 2016 to 2026. We also have the National Development Plan. I mean, there is humongous chunks of works to be done there. And surely it needs the energies of everybody. Capacities needs to be built. We have to form leadership. We have to form partnerships. Surely this is something that cannot only be directed at men. Women have a role to play there. The last time I checked in 2019 census, women were 30 million in this country and men were 29. So there's no way you can exclude the majority of the people from the mainstream economy and from any program that seeks to advance this nation and to make this world a better place. There is a lot to be done in the 5 pillars of the veterinary strategy, which is from strengthening animal health, veterinary public health, laboratory diagnostics, animal welfare, developing all those nice tracking devices and animal identification systems. Women have a role to play there, And yes, we can. We've seen some who came before us do that, and others is just to lead, to follow, and to make that difference. We are capable.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Lubisi. Your take, Sister Standard?
Right. So, for especially veterinary nurses that I am obviously representing, the future is uncertain. Look at the times that we are in. But I would really love to see that the veterinary nurses, the group that we are, will grow and get stronger. And you know, we do have a few men that is veterinary nurses, and they're also very extremely compassionate about it. But there are more women in the veterinary nurse positions. And you know what? We are taking care of all those patients, and we're assisting the veterinarians. And we also have very busy schedules in the day and even at night time. And I do not want to see the veterinary nurses fading away. So with the new degree course that we are currently doing, we are already stepping into the future. And I can just see that the nurses are going to go far and we are going to gain more knowledge. And not only for us, but to assist the veterinarians and to make the animals better. So I see a great future for us, although it's uncertain, but I believe that we are going to go forward.
Thank you, Sister. Mepume.
Thank you, Dr. Mnisi. Once again, beautiful ladies, greetings, happy International Women's Day. From the statistics that Dr. Lubisi has mentioned, you can really tell that the future is female. I mean, we are now recognizing a changing role in the society at large. Our roles as women in the society are changing a lot. We don't just belong in the kitchen anymore. We don't have the specific careers anymore. Women are now animal health technicians. We are veterinary nurses. We are veterinarians. So what I can say is that the future is female.
There you go. The future is female. I mean, from a male-dominated veterinary field to something else. You know, you look at the statistics, as Dr. Levis indicated, and you know where you are, sister. You know, look at just get out a bit from the theater, go out there, the large animal practice, the small animal practice. You're like feeling, oh shame, what happened to the men? But you're like, you know what? Nah, it's our time. Yeah. Now, having indicated that the future is female, how can we change it? How can we change it? We're still talking the future, by the way. We're not yet there. It's not like we are, the world is female. The future is female, correctly put by Mrs. Kume. How can we change it? How can we change our industry more specifically? Dr. Lubisi.
Dr. Mnisi, yes, there is a lot that still needs to be done. I will just talk about veterinary services in South Africa. Following the OIE PVS report, it was clear that we had two futures ahead of us. One is scary, one is giving me hope. The OIE report said that South Africa is at the crossroads where our future can look very bright, and then it can also take a downward steep, decline. And for it to be bright, it says that we need good governance in veterinary services. We must strengthen governance, and there must be clear lines of command, chains of command, and we must all work towards same goals. We must know our vision, we must know our strategy, and we must work together. They emphasize the interaction and the buy-in of all the veterinary officials, your veterinarians, your animal health technicians, your nurses, your laboratory technologists, your researchers, everybody. that is the future that needs everybody, including the women. So I cannot see us having a bright future without inclusion of our women. And of course, if it's going to go bleak and it's going to go darker, it's when you exclude people, when you don't have good governance, and when we don't work together. Partnerships, real partnerships, government, private sectors, where everybody knows what their mandate is, where everybody is supporting each other, not discriminating against each other because you're female and other things that people get discriminated on. Our future can really be bright. Collaboration, working together, and inclusivity. By inclusivity, I really mean that the women must be there, and the other groups which were marginalized and the other factors of marginalization must just fall off. That's my take.
Marginalization must just fall off. No other way to do it. Sister Standard?
Right. So what I think, we are all women in the animal health care, but lots of times there's not enough support for women. As Bume said earlier, we are not standing in the kitchen any longer. We are also hardworking. We have to earn money to keep our families going and put food on the table. And most of the times I see women that are not supported. The youngsters, we are adult people and we can take lots of things when it comes our way. But the young girls out there, they do not have the support system to help them to go through these difficult times. And I think that for the future, we must have a support group to support these youngsters. Not only the youngsters, there's adult women that is of the older generation that also needs our support. You know, we cry with the owners when a dog needs to be euthanized. It was their lifelong pet. And when it's going hard at home, your kids need you, your husband needs you, and it's very tough. I think if we can build a support group for everybody, I think that's the future to go. And we need it. We really need it.
That's the future to go, the support group. We need each other. And we come from different backgrounds. And those who have made it, you know, it's said that once you're up there, don't, push away the ladder. Just pull others to come. You know, there's different ways of doing that. So so important, Sister Standard, that group, that point, you know, to that support group for the young and the old. It's not only the young that need the support, the old as well. They need that support.
Thank you, Dr. Mnisi. You know, our industry is an industry that keeps our animals healthy, which also keeps the humans healthy. I mean, women are natural caretakers. We are natural innovators. If we can have more women in the leadership, more women in our veterinary profession who can be able to implement laws or rules that will be able to cater for our needs as women. For an example, the story that you have just told, I've also experienced the same thing. So if we can have more women in our veterinary profession, more women in leadership, who can be able to instill these laws, to instill these rules, to accommodate women, to accommodate our women in the profession, our needs as women in the profession, you know, women would understand better. I think woman to woman, they would understand better, and then implement these rules, implement these laws that will be able to cater the needs of women at large.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Now, ladies, we all know about 2020. There's no one living in this world or in this earth. Maybe in planet Mars it's something else, but here everybody knows about COVID-19. How did we fare? What was our contribution? What is it that we're proud of? What is it that will say, you know what, this pandemic is not yet over. We would like to change this. But once we're changing this, we're actually proud and would like to continue with this that we did in 2020. We had to adjust a lot, in a lot. Ladies, let me change the shift now, and we start. Mepume, what is it that we did that we're proud of during the pandemic in 2020? More especially women in animal health.
2020 was a big year, Dr. Mnisi, for everyone, for all the industries, not just particularly for us as women in animal health, or should I generalize it to say for us as women in agriculture. But we saw how women taking up the stage. I mean, women in agriculture took the center stage. As we all know, some of the parts of agriculture was not hit 100% by the pandemic. So women in agriculture really took the center stage, and now we're seeing more women. They are moving towards the sector. They want to join in the sector. They want to be part of the agricultural sector.
As much as animal health in general, not necessarily the women in animal health in general, it is not understood by many. There's still a great deal to be done. There's still a lot of awareness that we need to do. But you know what? During the pandemic, it was understood that animal health is an essential for the world to continue, living. I mean, we had to provide food. We had to provide everything else that you can think of. We had to provide health services for the animals, and animals of which are also a support, an emotional support, to the humans. So there was no way that health was going to be gazetted as essential, and animal health or the veterinary services being left out. Sister Stander, your take on, looking back and what is it that we can change, continue to contribute to assist ourselves as women in animal health during the pandemic?
Yes, I know no one believed or could thought that we were going into a lockdown level 5 and things changed completely everywhere. It was a terrible time for lots of us. What happened here at Onderstepoort is the students were removed from the campus. The elderly people who's over 60 years, they had to stay at home. All the admin people who could work from home, they had to stay at home. So it was just a few of us that had to carry on with the animal health care. So we had to restructure, and we had to think very hard and very deep of what we're going to do to run this place and to keep going. So it was incredible to see how people could adapt. And you know what? We can take this with us. We can, and we are strong. We're not going to sit in a little corner to cry when there's so much to do and that you think the time is not enough in a day. We can do it, and it was proven to us. So we are going to take this with us to the future, and we can just build on it, and we can say to one another, COVID taught us great things, and it's incredible. Women will not stay behind.
Women will not stay behind. Dr. Lubisi, your take on a look at 2020, how we adapted.
I
Please unmute, Doc.
and all those other bodies, the OV. I am unmuted. Can you hear me? I am unmuted. Yes, I'm saying I was very proud of the veterinary fraternity. Like Sister Stander has said, we didn't just sit back and watch the world change and all the devastation that was going on and said, what can we do? We did something. We had great leadership all the way from government. The South African Veterinary Council gave some standards and some do's and don'ts, and the SAVA, everybody came together. And I must say, we can say in the SAVC, the leadership, the executive is majority women. They were there, they did something. We saw laboratories functioning, hospitals functioning, see how they can do with the situation and the regulations which were put before us. There were some, of course, things that we couldn't do, activities that were planned and that had to be laid off, set back for a while. But emergencies and important things were done. And women were in the forefront of all those decisions and all those actions which were taken to ensure that services were still delivered, and then we still had a functional veterinary service, all sectors, in 2020. So I can say that working together is power. Power, there is power in working together. And I was very proud of the veterinary fraternity. I was very proud of the stance that we took to say that why are you leaving us behind? When you are working on this COVID, we also have some things that we can add there, some things that we can contribute. And women were there behind the scenes and in the forefront. I know that amongst the people who went to meet the minister to talk about this COVID-19 and how the veterinarians can help, after, of course, Dr. Moerane wrote that article, women were involved. People were involved. Women were part of that team. So I must say I'm proud of the veterinary team as a whole, and I'm proud of the women in it.
Wow, thank you, ladies. It just shows, the power of women. When they fix their eyes on something, it changes. Whatever it is, just let them and they'll do it. Animal health, many years ago, who would have thought that animal health will shift from being such a male dominated field to balanced now? I wouldn't mind actually, like I said earlier on, if it goes the other way. But you know what? What has led to that, ladies? And how can we continue with that? Remember, Sister Stander, you mentioned providing the support to all the age groups, all the women throughout the age groups, providing support so that we keep this. It's one thing to achieve something, and it's another to sustain it. And we wouldn't like to see a situation where a century later it is said that, oh, that used to be a female dominated, it is now male dominated. You know what? Women for whatever. We're not going back. How can we sustain that? What has shifted? How did it shift and how can we continue with that? Would you like to take the lead, Mepume, please?
We are seeing a huge change. Women are aging up indeed. I mean, with the cost of living being this high, we cannot just sit back and not do anything. At the moment, we're seeing more women in our veterinary profession, which is a very beautiful thing, which is a great thing. However, we still have our male colleagues who are still supporting us, who are still there for us. So at the moment, what I can say is that it is very pleasing to see how women are now so interested in the field. Women are now being part of the veterinary profession, and I think from now going on, the number is gonna increase and no more going down from here upwards.
the number is not going down from here upwards. You know, as they say, we were where were we? We had reached bottom. We're down there. You know, now the only way is up. Sister Standard.
You know, when my grandmother was still alive, and she died at the age of 94, she always told us when they were young how hard they had to work. And the women in those days, they did not have a lot of choices when they are out of school. They either had to become a nurse, a human nurse, or a teacher, or they married, stayed at home, raised the kids. That was the options that they had. And look at us now. We can do basically anything that the men can do. And it makes me so proud to be a woman. And I do not have to stay at home to look after the children. I can support my family. And you know what? When I look at the students as well, we are collecting all the photos of each year of student groups. And long ago, the students was mostly men. And now it's mostly women. And I think it's because the women have been given a chance to show themselves in the world. Yes, they do not have huge muscles like the men. We still do need them because they will have to lift up the heavy dogs and hold the cows. But we can do it as well. We are using our minds, we are using our skills, and we can develop. You know, so we do not have to stand back for anything. And that is why the future is looking very bright for us. If it's changed so much from the past to now, it can change even more in the future.
If it changed so much for us now, it can change even more for the future. Do you agree, Dr. Lubisi?
Of course, I do agree. And you asked the question as to why are we in the situation that we are in today. And I would really like to say that we are celebrating Women's Day today, not because the opportunity was given to us. No, freedom is never given. I thank every woman and man who helped the women to get emancipation. I mean, we are here today because oppressive laws were abolished. And then we also are here today because of those brave women who entered into this profession when it was only males. When I was doing my research, I would really like to thank the women like Joan Morris, who was the first female veterinarian in this country. And I was reading an article written by people in Sava, and it was a really disturbing story of one of the veterinarians who was given in a party, a school party, a university party, a pair of panties just to remind her that she was female. I mean, that would never happen today. They would go straight to jail. And it was after 40 years of existence of the veterinary faculty, but they only graduated 10 women. So if you are going to say what do we attribute this? We attribute this to the abolishment of the laws and those who fought for those laws to be abolished. And we thank the women who first went there, and it wasn't easy for them. And I also have to mention that we also have to thank women like Emily Mohajani, who was the first Black woman veterinarian in this country. Because unfortunately in South Africa, your problem just doesn't end with being a female. It also has to do with you being Black. So I hail such women such as the Joan Morrises of this world, the Emily Mohajanis of this world, and of course the women who took up positions in formerly male-dominated sectors, the big veterinary establishments in this country. We are talking about the women like Anthea Fleming, who was the first SAVA president. And this is after how long the SAVA was established. I think SAVA was established in about 1903 or so. and they got their first female president right now in 2009, and they got their first Black female one in 2017. So we are not taking such things lightly. So we also thank women like Linda Makuleni, who was the first OBP, I think, female CEO, and all the other women who have taken up top positions which were really male dominated. And I hope that in the future we will see female leadership, maybe at the Faculty of Vet Science, the first female dean, we'll see the first female director at OVI, and so forth. And really, those women helped other women to come through because they saw that I saw that woman. It's possible. A woman can do it. And again, another thing, like Sister Stanner mentioned, that we always feared. We wanted to do things, but we looked at our physique, what we were, our physical limitations. But with the advent of chemical immobilization and the improvements in chemical immobilization, the improvement in laboratory tools, diagnostic tools, animal handling tools, and all that, we saw that half the work was done for us. We can do that. We can really help the animals. We can really immobilize them. We can, men handle them. Okay, this time is women handle them. Things can be done. So all sorts of innovations that happened helped us to be here we are today. And I don't see any more stumbling blocks, even though there are still sort of those beliefs and practices which are part of the social constructs, which have their basis in all those oppressive laws. Such things should be identified. We should speak against them. We should fight them in order for us to move forward. Yes, the future is female, but that doesn't mean the men should be excluded. The future belongs to all of us. That's my take.
The future is female, but it belongs to all of us, including you brave males that are with us here. Now, ladies,
Yes.
You've just correctly said, and thank you for those ladies you mentioned, Dr. Lubisi. It's such an honor, fortunate to have met some of those, except for Dr. Morris. But most of the others I've met, and they're really great women, and one looks up to them. But now, ladies, there's also this thing about that is there in society. Whenever they see a woman being elevated to a certain position, they think, oh, she did whatever to get there. Oh, it's just affirmative action. And you know what? Sometimes it so happens that that woman happens, to really be like not really probably perform to what is expected. Of course, we cannot ignore the fact that as a woman in animal health, ladies, you haven't said it, let me say it, let me crack it for you so that we can continue. We are expected to perform twice as much or maybe 10 times as much as men. They can do one thing, but for other people to really recognize that, yes, Sister Stander is the vet nurse. Yes, Mepume is the animal health technician. Yes, Dr. Lubisi is the vet diagnostic vet. She's got to really work hard. How do we cope with that? Any coping mechanisms? Because if you have to work twice as hard when you're only giving the same time, how do you do that? How do you then get home and still be the wife and still be the mother and still nurture your pets, ladies? How do you do that? How do you balance those things? Anyone, ladies? I'm not going to pick this time.
I'll go first on this one. It's really sad that people would think that you got your job because you are a woman, you did unsavory things to get to where you are. It's really sad. I say the only way is to support what Sister Standard has said. Let's support each other. Let's work. and we should not be complacent and keep quiet about their wrongs. All these practices that you've just mentioned, that women have to work harder than males to be recognized, for people to shut up, is wrong. And we should never ever say it's right. We should never keep quiet. We must speak up against injustices, and we must support each other. And we must have the pets. They really help. They will make you feel good and make you feel like, yes. So I don't know. It's like I said, like they say, it's not yet Uhuru, but support, speaking up against injustices, and hard work, ladies, will get us far. That's my take.
Watching a lot of TV has made me to be fond of the series The Crown. And women at all costs, we need to protect our crowns. You see, we've got our crowns today. Hello. How do we cope, Sister Standard, and maintain our crown in the process? Not to lose ourselves, not to go out there trying to prove ourselves that we forget that we are women.
Yes, it is very difficult. But I have a motto in life, and I think everybody can listen to what I'm going to say now and take it to heart. And you know what? If you keep thinking of this, you will be able to do lots more. I always say, the more you do, the more you can do. But if you do less, you want to do less. So in the afternoons when I got back home, what do? You have supper and you sit in front of the TV, then you wash the dishes. And then I decided, this is not my life. My husband is busy working still, so let me do more. And it ended up that I get back home just before 9 o'clock each evening. And that is only because I know I can do more. You must just time manage yourself. It doesn't help you going home, now I need to rest. Yes, you have to rest, but you have to think about it. You have to think about your life. What are you going to do with your life? How much time do you need to spend with your children? When do you need to spend time with your husband? There are so many families that broke down over COVID. And it's incredible. It's like they were spending more time with one another, but they don't have anything to say to one another anymore. So it is a huge challenge to stay focused and to stay strong as a woman. And I take my hat off to each and every wife, mother, and animal health care technician, all of us and veterinarians who can still run your family and can still work. And it's really, it takes a lot of you. So a balanced life, you have to have a balanced life, but you have to think of it very, very closely. And we need to support one another, as I said. So we need to start a group or something so that we can support one another and we can learn from one another. Really, 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 I think so.
Certainly, Sister Standard. We introducing ourselves as a wife, mother. Somehow we forget to mention, or maybe it's because of time, that we daughters, we sisters, our parents, they still expect us to be there. You may not have your biological mother still with you, but there's an auntie, there's an whoever who still wants you to be there. So our responsibilities are so huge, especially for us of color. There's this thing called black tax, So it's there even with time. You're expected to provide time. Black tax is not only in terms of the money, you're also supposed to provide some time. And so important then to manage the time. There's 24 hours. We need to divide that wisely. Ensure that you have me time. Have just an hour of just you, look at yourself and you know what, have some relaxation. Because otherwise we will just work and work and work, and the next thing will be zombies. And the people that we're working for, they will no longer appreciate us because we have turned out to be something else. Mepume, what do you say? As we're, yeah.
As women within the animal health industry, we really work hard to prove ourselves. It's like, let me give you a scenario in terms of working in the field. I think it's like maybe the community, or should I say, maybe there's still that thing that women cannot do it. But once you do it and you do it right, then that's when they say, oh, so women can also do this type of a job. So yeah, I think it's because of maybe we are women, but anyhow, it doesn't matter. We still have the potential. We are still doing it, and we are doing it right. And now the society feels like, so women can also be part of this profession, and they are also doing it very well. Some women, I think we can also be better professionals within our veterinary professions than men. We can still do it well.
Thank you, Mepume. Now, Marianne has joined us, and she asks, what role do you think technology can play in helping women move further in the veterinary industry? Any pick, ladies? What role can technology play in improving?
We have been talking about our limitations, our physical limitations, and technology has certainly helped with that. And technology can make our businesses, our industries function a lot better. And by so doing, it can make us look better. Imagine a woman who's such an efficiently run practice and efficiently ran anything veterinary establishment due to technology, proper communication, proper diagnostic imaging, proper billing system, and all this. This all comes with improved technology. And, like we were saying, when a woman does something, they're always going to check on it. Is it functioning properly? Is it doing what it's supposed to be doing? Yes, we have established that it can when that woman is serious, when that woman wants it as badly enough. So technology can really assist us women can empower ourselves, can make us more efficient, can make us look more good. And when something is good, something is visible, people talk about it. And that young girl also wants to be that talked about female veterinarian, that talked about so-and-so, talked about technologist who does things so efficiently. So what technology can do to others can also do for the female animal health worker. It can make us more efficient, it can make us look good, and it can really help us with the things that we are talking about, the constraints, time management. So yes, it does have a role to play. And we want better technologies. We welcome improvements in technology. We've seen how it has helped us during the COVID pandemic restrictions. If it wasn't for technology, as we are speaking now, we are looking at each other in the faces, and this is technology. It's wonderful. So imagine talking to your client via Zoom. Let me see, show me Fufi's face. Oh yeah, I can see what you're talking about. That is wonderful. The sky is the limit with technology.
Certainly, we are here, Women in Animal Health webinar, first of its kind, brought to you proudly by the South African Veterinary Council. We are not at there in Irene at the SAVC offices. We're all over the show, but we are together. That is technology helping us to improve ourselves in the industry. And there's so many other women that have joined us, and the men. And we are here. That is technology, and it can do so much more. It just requires us that after this, we continue. We don't stop here. We continue using the technology and cope. You know how many women and men suffering from stress-related conditions because of the industry that we are in, not only because of the colleagues, but also the clients that we're dealing with. I mean, we went to school thinking that we want to deal with animals, but guess what? We're dealing more with humans than animals. Now, ladies, we are basically at the end of our show, and I would like you to just give us like your wrapping comments as we concluding our Women in Animal Health webinar celebrating the International Women's Day. I'll start with Mepume. Any closing remarks from your side?
Dr. Mnisi, I love the quote that you quoted earlier on, Bosadi Hasebukole. It really has a lot of weight. As women, we have the potential. We are natural innovators. It is said that there is nothing a woman cannot do, no matter how hard or how dirty. That's how we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mepume. Sister Standard?
Yes, so my last words will be that I am so glad that we are using the technology. As Marianne was asking on a question, how can we use technology to further this animal health for women, And this is, as you said, this is exactly what we are using currently. And I don't think we must stop here. This initiative that you've started, Dr. Nisi, we have to take it further. I see that there's a future for something like this, and this support group, we have to start it. I will fully support it, and I think all of you will agree with me. And I think this was the first time we had this, and I think we must keep on going with this. It mustn't stop. We have to feed it the right food so that the women can get stronger. And thank you very much for inviting me. This was really wonderful.
It's only a pleasure, Sister Standard. Yes, the support group. Our backstage women, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Backstage, we just have women. So our backstage women are scribing for us, and they are going to make sure that we continue with this support group and support each other. Dr. Lubisi, your closing remarks.
Yes, I would like to thank the South African Veterinary Council for this initiative. It's really refreshing. Women need to talk more. And I would like to tell any young girl, any young woman, or a woman of whatever age who wants to get into veterinary services, who wants to get into animal health care, or who is already inside, to not be afraid, to nurture that feeling, to nurture that intention, to go out there, find their niche, find it something that they're interested in, work on it, and make a mark. We really need their contributions. They do have the brains, God-given brains, and let no man kill their dreams. Let no man thwart their efforts. We need the contribution of everybody to make this country great, to make the world a better place to live with. Animal health, working in animal health is an honor, it's a noble profession. Let's do it. Let's go out there and work. And allow nobody to stop you to do what you want. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lubisi. Thank you, great ladies. You look beautiful. I love your crowns. It's so interesting that we force our ways, even in the industry, theater, we make it like, you must wear something just so we can, show our crowns. Well, continue celebrating the International Women's Day, and more so continue challenging yourselves, contributing towards changing our world. Let's get the challenge and change our world. From the South African Veterinary Council, under the leadership of Dr. Tutlo Hasi, will say, as the South African Veterinary Council enjoy International Women's Day and can continue making yourselves felt out there, continue contributing to the communities. Women, they are just incubators. Anything that you give it to them, they make it grow, they multiply it. Let's continue incubating the great things so that the world can be a better place. Let's ensure that animal health is known by each and everyone out there in our communities, and so that we can live better. You remember that animal health was the first profession that God created? Oh, yes, it was. So let it continue to be like that. From the South African Veterinary Council, bye. Thank you for joining us.